Hey, and welcome to another 31 Days of Horror 2015 segment, Toronto After Dark edition. That's right. Today I'm going to be talking about a film called The Diabolical. It's directed by first-time director Alistair Legrand. So really, he got nothing that I can reference to that he's ever done before. This is his first film. Essentially, it's a movie that plays out mostly like a traditional horror or ghost story type thing, but then throws this sci-fi twist near the end, and it's just like, whoa, okay, that's a little different. The story is essentially about a single mother played by Ali Larder. And if the name sounds familiar, there's probably a reason. She's been in a lot of things: Varsity Blues, House on Haunted Hill, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, Final Destination 2, Resident Evil Extinction, Resident Evil Afterlife. I think she's going to be in the next Resident Evil movie. Most people probably know her from Heroes. She was the Tracy Strauss character. And Obsessed. She was also in Obsessed. So yeah, she is, she's the veteran here. And it shows. It clearly shows. She probably solidified this group considerably. First time director. She's like single mother of two kids, and the two kids, one played by Max Rose, the other one by Chloe Perrin, are both essentially first timers. Haven't really done anything else, and so honestly, she's keeping that whole thing going, right? It's her experience, I'm sure, that made this work as well as it did. But yeah, essentially, she's a single mother dealing with, raising these two kids, and she is having to deal with, child services and all that kind of stuff, and she's at risk of losing her kids due to the situation she's in. I think she's having problems. I can't remember. I think she was having problems paying her bills or something like that. And the house, were they going to foreclose on it? They might have been foreclosing on the house eventually. But what's been happening is in the house that she's living in, the entire family start getting... At first, it was ongoing before the movie, like the events in the movie started, like taking place. But you sort of come into it, they're already being haunted by these entities, if you want to call them. Like, it's hard to say what entities, I guess, is the right word. And they know about it, like, so. This isn't something that's, like, new. It isn't so... It's one of those weird things, because normally in the, a haunted house movie, you have this slow build-up of, little things scare here, scarier thing here, a big scare here, until eventually, manifestation of the ghost or whatever. No, this is the ghost is already, the entity has manifested itself right off the bat, and... they've tried everything. They've tried psychics and paranormal experts and ghost hunters and all sorts of things, right? Mediums, to try and figure this thing out. And eventually, it's her boyfriend, who is like the high school science teacher, who is played by Wilmer Calderon, who... has done a few things. If you're going to know him from anywhere, he was in Annapolis, Reeker 2, if you're, looking for something, in terms of genre. Fast and Furious, you probably know him mostly for that. He was the Tash character. But yeah, I mean, he mostly did like television roles and such like that. So he's not really, though, I mean, the name might sound familiar. He's not somebody who's really, when you look at him, you know who he is or anything like that. But he play, like I said, he plays the boyfriend, and he essentially figures it out, what's going on, and they work in to try and, get a solution to this entire weird ongoings that are happening in this house. And it actually plays out really, really well. Like I said, it's like a ghost story. So there's a lot of, the haunting moments, like the things that are haunting them. These entities are like, they're gruesome. They're freaky looking. They're very, they get more and more violent as things progress. And it, unfortunately, I wouldn't say the film is too tensiony. Like, it doesn't really build that tension because it throws you right in there. The entities are attacking, and they come up, almost randomly, it seems at first. And so there isn't really a sense of fear going on, because like I said, these people have been dealing with these entities for a little while already, so they know the deal. Sure, they get scared when they show up, but when they're not there, it's everything's per usual. So in that sense, it would have been nice to have a little bit more tension and dread build up, to get more of those, just icky feelings, instead of just hammering it home with these entities, these scary entities, because it really does feel for a certain portion of the movie that it's almost a wash and repeat when it comes to the scary moments, because they're coming, they show up, boom, you get a little bit more, there's more, you see more of them, they're there longer, there are slight differences, there are different entities showing up, and that being the case, it's just like, there's no real arc in terms of the scariness of this film. It has, jump scares. The jump scares are there. The gruesomeness of these entities is there. But honestly, it's this sci-fi element that comes out of nowhere, and this twist to the story and what's actually happening that makes the Diabolical a little bit better than your average haunted house movie, because otherwise, it would have felt a little flat. It still would have been good, still would have been watchable, and like I said, the effects, both physical and digital, are really good in this movie compared to films of a similar nature. But it's it's one of those things where I just wish there was more of that build-up. That's really what's missing. But I don't know. It's a good watch, and I do recommend checking it out. But I do say that don't go into it expecting, with high expectations. It's decent. You watch it, it's fine, and then you get, you watch the story play out. The story is decent. The story is good, and it gets this really weird ending, which you either buy into or you don't. It's not bad. It's not bad. I enjoyed the Diabolical. I just wish it had been better, because it had the potential. It had so much potential to be better, but I think they were more interested in this story that they were trying to tell and this twist than they were of actually developing what people will probably find the most desirable of a film of this nature, and that's the tension, the scares, the fear, the idea of being haunted, because that's the way it's sold, right? So people go in expecting a haunted house movie. You better deliver a good haunted house movie, otherwise everything else is for naught. And I think that's kind of what happened here. Everything else, had other ideas in their head and didn't concentrate enough on the scare. Or maybe they just didn't know. Maybe they didn't know how to pull that off. Always possible with a first-time director, right? And a bunch of people, some first-time actors and actors who aren't really into the genre per se. So, yeah. That's essentially the Diabolical in a nutshell. There isn't much more you can say about it. If you get the chance, check it out. If not, you're not necessarily missing anything. I'm not saying, you gotta see this film. But it's worth a watch. So, yeah. That's it for this 31 Days of Horror 2015 segment. More videos to come, more Toronto After Dark Film Festival coverage coming up soon. Until next time, take care. Have a good one.